Josh? Harper. Yes. You have a lot more volume than I do up here. Can we take credit cards sometime? Yes. Okay. We got someone who'd like to do their donation from last night, I think.
Okay. Send them to me.
All right, let's get started. Everybody have a good night last night.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with our invocation. Russell, you'll make your way forward. And we can give a door prize away while Russell's on his way up here.
All right, let's do a $25 gift card. How about it? And it goes to Christina Clear. Right here.
Where you at? Right here.
I'm 1 feet away from him.
I was 1 feet away from
You
winning.
already won.
1 feet away from winning. That's how you make the wrong seat.
I did. I did again.
Maybe she just come on.
Good.
Someone
back here do
Yep.
credit cards?
That would be me.
Credit cards? Oh, Josh is doing credit cards? Sure.
Lord, we thank you now for, as we prepare now to conclude this convention for 2016. Lord, we pray right now your choice blessings upon all chapters in the state of Tennessee. Pray your choice blessings upon our illustrious president. Now, Father God, we ask you that you will continue to bestow upon us love for one another. And Lord, although we may at times disagree, let us remember that we must at some time, at some point, come together and reason together. Father, we thank you now. We thank you for what has transpired this weekend. Now, Father, we pray that every chapter president, every officer of every chapter, that they will go back to their various homes and areas and begin to promote the Federation, continue to build the Federation. Lord, we thank you. We ask it all in your darling son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Door prize?
Yes.
Thank you.
Two.
Okay, got a lady.
Yeah.
Goodie bag. And a $10 gift card for Outback. It goes to Geraldine Martin.
All right, Geraldine.
I know that's right.
Me and my.
All right, everybody. The first item on our agenda this morning is a gentleman who is a good friend of mine. A guy I've known for, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 years now. And he's been working really hard on the Tennessee Voice, which is our newsletter. And he'd like, a lot of participation from the chapters. And he's going to tell us about some of the things they've been doing and perhaps some of the things they want to do in the future. And I don't know, April, are you going to talk on this as well? All right, April Meredith's going to join him as well and talk about the Tennessee Voice. So please welcome Steve Norman and April Meredith. Okay, so just welcome April Meredith. Steve is not here.
You can do it, April.
Yay,
April.
Yeah, you can do it.
I have faith in April.
Yeah. Got a fan club.
Okay, can you hear me?
Almost. It's 17 now. Don't you love it?
Okay, here we go.
You're in it or you're
Okay.
credit card's off.
Well, this is great. I was supposed to be his assistant because I'm his co-editor of the Tennessee Voice. Is there anyone here that does not subscribe to it? I want to put you on the spot. Okay, I heard one me, and that's good enough because everybody matters. So, okay, yeah. So the Tennessee Voice is the state newsletter of the National Federation of the Blind, and it is both an opportunity to provide information, to get information, but also to hopefully get some entertainment out of it. Also, it's quarterly. It's every 3 months, but it is written, edited, and provided to you by you. Without contributors, without you all submitting articles, poetry, whatever you want to do, events information, reports on events that are coming up, things like that. I do a regular review of some movie I've chosen. I call it the double perspective. I used to have vision and now I don't. So sometimes I might review a movie that is something I've seen before with vision, and then now I'll see it with audio description and kind of give my input on the quality of the audio description. And I never, ever give away what the movie's about, just in case the readers haven't seen the movie. So I'm very careful about how I articulate that. But I'm a big movie fan. I'm a big music person, so I try to write and contribute things related to that, as well as doing some of the editing. But it can be anything by or about blind-related issues. But, you live your life, and yeah, we may be blind or living in the blind community or be related to someone who's blind, but that doesn't mean that every single thing we write or do is because we're blind. It's just because we're humans, and we have hearts and we have minds, and so it's your voice. It's your chance to put into words and into text whatever you want to talk about. Spark conversations, throw out ideas. Ideally, we would love to have at least one article from each chapter each quarter. We try to put it out on it's January 15th is the winter issue. April 15th coming up is the spring issue. So April, June, July, August. Yeah, August is the fall issue. So that's our, and it's the 15th each time. We send it out. It's available right now. It's available through email. It's always posted online on the state NFB website. It is also available. But it's on the news line, the NFB news line also, so you can always call in and listen to some of our back issues and get an idea on. I think it's available in Braille upon request, if you prefer that. But it's an electronic newsletter, so we accept submissions. Give me a second to think about. Yeah, I didn't get much sleep for the past 2 nights. I don't know why, but lots of excitement going on. Give me a second. I'm trying to get the email address. It is TN Voice, so TNVOICE at nfb-tn.org. But you can look us up on the State NFB website also and connect to us that way. All else fails, contact James. He can get in contact with me or Steve as the editors. You didn't take that note. Essentially, contributions are it's always open. Submit at any time. If it's something time-oriented, like it's an event that's coming up within the next quarter, definitely that would be prioritized and try to be put in the very next issue. But don't worry about like, oh, it's the 15th and today's the 14th. I don't have time to write an article. Well, yeah, you do, because if you get it to us on the 15th, well, guess what? We'll just put it in the next newsletter. It's always open and it's always welcome, and we want to just keep growing it and making it a very respectable newsletter. We've been really growing on our subscribers. This not only, it used to, it really was kind of a little bit of preaching to the choir. It was by us and for us, but Steve and I have been working really hard to make it truly Tennessee's voice, so our blind community's voice to everyone in our state. So we have people from the Tennessee Council on Developmental Disabilities, TRC, TSB, state representatives. We have lots of people that aren't necessarily directly connected to us that are starting to read this. So it absolutely is something that people have told me, oh my goodness, I saw that article and I was really impressed with your writing. Could you please submit something to this other newsletter? I got a poem published again recently because they asked me to contribute something else because of something they read that I did in the newsletter. I've had people say, yeah, there's people wanting more events posted. We've got like upcoming events, like announcements. So whatever's going on in your chapters, please don't assume that just because you told your chapter that that's all that people will come. You never know when we're going to be on a business trip or when someone that isn't yet involved with us may be reading this newsletter, because this is our subscriptions keep growing. So the next issue is a really huge one, so I really want people to subscribe to it. We've got, I was able to interview a former American Idol finalist, and we're going to have his, my interview with him, both the video interview, and then I'll put some text in there too for the newsline of it, and I think it will be really exciting. It was like a dream come true for me because I was, he does happen to be blind, and he's also a writer and a motivational speaker, and we almost came here. He didn't get to come to this event. He was committed to one out of the country actually, but his name is Scott McIntyre, but he was really encouraged, and he does want to, he's actually not involved. He likes to just not pretend he's not blind. He spent his whole life going, look, blindness doesn't affect me, so I don't need support. But actually meeting me, he's like, oh, I didn't realize that I was affecting the blind community by me being blind. He's like, I'm used to telling people, my blindness doesn't affect me. It's not, I'm blind, or I'm a singer even though I'm blind. I'm not a piano player even though I'm blind. He spent so many years feeling that way that he didn't realize that, some of us like that, we need some representatives that are in the national spotlight, some celebrities like that are representing us well and showing that blindness is absolutely not a limitation. We don't do things despite, our blindness. That has nothing to, we are who we are because we are who we are, and because we work hard to be who we are. And the blindness is not a characteristic that defines us. And when I told him that that's what the NFB stands for, I said we believe that blindness is not the characteristics that defines us. He goes, oh, that's how I think. That's how he's like, that's my personal motto. So he really wants to become involved, at least at a distance, and hopefully we'll be able to attend something this year. And we're working on that also. So the Tennessee Voice has been reaching reaching out far and wide, and it just keeps expanding. But we need your contributions and your ideas. If you don't feel like you're a natural writer yourself, but you have an article idea, we're open to that. We're open to everything. So that is tnvoice@nfb-tn.org is our email. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for April?
Can I have Scott's phone number?
I don't think his agent would like me to give that out. I'll tell you though, you can find it.
He's got a podcast. You can go to his website
He's on Facebook.
and contact him.
His sister's a very strong federation, so I can give you her number. She's at Juilliard right now. So yeah,
Yeah, his whole family is.
What's her
Caitlin McIntyre. Yeah. Mhm. Any more questions? Okay. and I think
Josh is helping
is-
us with some of the technical aspects to expand our viewership.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, if you would like to view the Tennessee Voice online, you can do so. That web address is nfb-tn.org/TN Voice. And all the issues are up since there's about a year to year and a half's worth of the Tennessee Voice on the website that we've converted and things. All the new issues are coming out for sure on the website. That's another option to read that as well.
So please let your voice be heard. It's a great opportunity for you to share your talents.
I got my headphones.
All right, really enjoyed April. And, you know, I don't know your name in the back. April's friend.
Elena.
Elena. They sang Girls Just Want to Have Fun karaoke last night.
I don't know why I'm leaving.
Are you leaving?
I don't know why I'm leaving.
Oh. Door prize.
Yeah. Stephen Blair. I didn't hear What else? Douglas Dunlap.
He just left.
Roxy Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Yep, she's here.
Right, Roxy. Okay, I guess I'm considered the legislative coordinator, committee leader here, and so I'll go ahead and give that report. As I said in my presidential address, we had some legislation on the table back last March and April, and we ended up pulling that legislation because it was starting to look much different than it did in the beginning. And we figured that if someone was going to try and kill it, they might be successful. And I don't want to talk about that too much. But we are still working very hard to create a white paper. It's going to talk about a lot of these issues around the legislation. And we don't know what it's going to look like in the future. It could take probably about 3 different forms depending on how we look at it. But what we're going to need the chapters to do is we're going to need you all to participate a little bit in sort of a research experiment we're going to do on VR. And I don't want to go too much into that because, as many of you know, this is being streamed and a lot of people are listening to it. And if we tell VR what we're going to research on them about, it might affect the research. So many of your chapter presidents, your legislative coordinators in your chapters are going to be talking to you about how we can do this experiment on VR and see just exactly how they're performing. And we're going to need detailed records based on our results. And then we're going to make that a part of our white paper. Our white paper, which is generally just a bunch of gathered research, is going to be presented to them. And Terry's going to basically be doing a lot of that. But we also gathered a bunch of data, basically how well statistically voc rehab's been doing, or maybe how well they haven't been doing. So that's going to be exciting, and we need chapter participation for that. So be hopefully looking for that in the coming months. Hopefully in a month or two. We don't want to let it get too far away from us. But as John said yesterday, the state of Tennessee is very important. We have Senator Lamar Alexander, chair of the Health Committee, which has to do with health, education, labor, pensions, all that good stuff. So all of our stuff goes through him. And so I'm working right now with Heather Gibbons, who's up at the University of Tennessee, or it might be Gibbons. It's not Gibbons, it's Gibbons. But working with Chancellor Cheek and trying to get his okay on our AIM High Act, which is our education and higher education and digital curricular stuff. So as soon as I can get him, I think Senator Alexander will be on board. And as you guys know, the University of Tennessee is going through an interesting lawsuit right now having to do with sexual discrimination. So he's been kind of tied up with that. And so that's where we're going with that. We're also, I'm about to go to Washington, D.C. here in about just 4 days, 4 or 5 days from now. And we're going to meet with Bob Corker's office. And what we're going to do there is talk about the Marrakesh Treaty. Does everyone know what that is? Okay, the Marrakesh Treaty is basically going to allow us to share books across borders. So it's going to really, instead of trying to duplicate digitally what we do for our books, we're going to be able to share all those. So it's going to make it much easier. And so again, Senator Corker is the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee. And so everything has to go through him because the Senate has to approve. It's going to be in his committee. So I'm going to go there, ask him to try and put it on the docket, make sure this can get voted on and moved out. So John's going to help me with that. I'll be in Baltimore on Wednesday night and in DC on Thursday. And also be meeting with Congressman Rowe on Thursday as well. We've got a meeting with ACE, which is the American Council on Higher Education, and the American Association of Publishers. And if we can convince them and convince Rowe, and we're hoping that Rowe is going to help mediate between us, because we have had these disagreements. And if we can come to an agreement, which we hope we can, then all of the whole, accessible instructional materials in higher ed, we should be able to push this through, and that would even help what we've been doing on a state level with our Tennessee Teach that we passed in making colleges accessible in Tennessee. So that's kind of what we've been doing. We're going to have a Braille bill coming up, and Kathy Seegers, who is the principal at the Tennessee School for the Blind, is going to be working with us to help get that passed. She helped pass a Braille bill in Georgia back a long time ago, I think maybe in the early 2000s. And she's going to be working with us to mediate between the Department of Education. So we're going to be doing a lot of things here. And hopefully the chapters are going to get much more involved in some of this stuff we're doing. The strange things about politics nowadays, especially in our state and at a federal level, is that there's a lot of Republicans in office. And so if you look at the state of Tennessee and the state house and the state senate, Republicans make up about 75% And so a lot of times, if you live in a Democratic area, it's almost like your voice doesn't count. And so we're going to try and look at things a little bit differently this year, although we probably can't have many Democratic sponsors for our bills. We can have some very strong Democratic presence. So when we're talking about Craig McFarland for the Memphis chapter, yeah. And so he's our legislative coordinator there, and hopefully he's really going to be able to work with those Democrats, because even though they're Democrats, I believe they have a strong impact, in our House and Senate statewide. So just be on the lookout there for some issues, and hopefully we'll get started pretty soon on that. That's all I have as far as my report. There's probably a lot more, but anyone have any questions for me? Okay, let's do a door prize. Evelyn says we got a lot of them.
Let's do two. Great.
I've got $20 and man's goodie bag, and it goes to Iman Johnson.
Come on.
Yes, I see. No, I'm getting on. That's a bird here.
All right.
We got another one?
Yeah. Yeah, do another.
Okay, I have a wall clock, and it goes to Tim Bratcher.
Or again, we got Kate's Tim, he can have it. He could have tonight.
Jeff Benson.
Oh.
I didn't know.
Tammy Burnett.
Oh,
Tammy Burnett, I'm sorry.
it's just like
Yeah, they're together.
together.
Well, what's the likelihood of that coming up?
Yeah, I know.
What about Dr. Jamie Ho?
She's gone.
She is not here.
Tara Tate.
Right here, right
Alright.
Okay.
Hey, Melissa? Melissa Smith?
Yes.
All right, are you doing the audit
Yes.
report? All right, come on down. Josh, where's our music? I thought we were gonna do some music. So
Get a
damn.
move.
He's been going.
I deserve that, I suppose.
Wait, you won't study. Yes, we'll try to learn next to without fail.
I like this song.
I just can't. After all, you know just want to stick me ground.
Listen, Josh, appreciate that you picked up for her song.
Hey, got everybody awake and moving?
We love you, John. Well, that's what happens when he doesn't win a door prize. Gotta get him one.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Melissa.
The audit committee report. To the members of the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee, we have audited the accompanying statements of financial position of the National Federation of the Blind of January 1st, 2015, and the related statements of activities, functional expenses, and cash flows for the year then ended. Our responsibility is to express an opinion of these financial statements based on their examination. We conducted our examination in accordance with generally accepted procedures. Those procedures require that we perform the examination to obtain reasonable. Well, I just can't hardly see it, sorry.
Yes, thank you. Assurances about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement. An audit includes evidence supporting the amounts and disclosures in the financial statements. An audit also includes assessing the accounting principles used and significant estimates made by management, as well as evaluating the overall financial statement presentation. We believe that our examination provides a reasonable basis for our opinion. In our opinion, the financial statement referred to above present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee as of December 31st, 2015, and the results of its operations and changes in net assets for the year that ended are in conformity with generally accepted accounting procedures. Revenues received and expenses paid are tracked and reported appropriately. I make a motion that the audit be accepted.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, motion carries. All right, you are ready.
All right, this is our annual financial report. National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee Financial Report, January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015. Income, contributions was $35,913.62. Membership dues, $670. Gross sales of sunglasses was $70. Total income, $36,653.62. Expenses, cost of sunglasses, was $330. Awards and grants, $3,100. Supplies, $694.80. Travel, $2,384.47. Conferences, conventions, and meetings, $5,328.34. Professional fees, $1,090. Other was $1,496.75. Total expenses, $14,424.36. Other categories consist of insurance and filing fees.
What we see.
Net income equals $22,229.26. Net assets beginning of year was $12,114.23. Change in net assets, $22,229.26. Net assets end of year, $34,343.49. That's our annual report for 2015.
All right, all right. Christina? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Who was the second?
Russell, do you have were you wanting to make a comment? No. Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. No discussion. I'm not hearing any. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no.
What's a good song?
I said no, so I said say no. All right. So up next we have Josh Harper on website committee, but I don't know, Evelyn, you want to try and get over there and do another door prize?
Yeah. And it goes to April Meredith.
Oh.
Four-piece toast. Yeah. I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. Nice.
It's a puzzle toaster, you gotta put together.
So Josh, I wanna see how you're gonna play some music and get up to the mic at the same time.
He's bad.
Oh, a little accessible technology, there you go.
This is
Right now, this is, President Riccobono is in the cockpit at Daytona Speedway about to do the blind driver challenge. That's what that little clip was there before the song.
You got to stay, you gotta be. Can it be readers like me? No need for food, we got to do. You find it to educate you. If you need a little cash, you can talk back. Accessible technology. Accessible technology. Accessible technology. Anything's possible and everything's accessible. Accessible technology. You gonna learn, go take a class. Do everything the show's
He cheated, he had Tim helping. Hey, Tim.
Anybody's gotta have help.
He helps me.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Gives me great pleasure to bring you the website committee report. As far as the website is, who has viewed the website recently?
Yep.
Cool. Did you notice some new changes?
Yes.
We worked on kind of making it less linky in the menu bar, so it's not as cluttered in the menu bar. Put some of the most important things as links on the home page. Who has checked out the news section of the website? In case you haven't checked it out, underneath the news section is anything that the national level is doing and puts out as press releases and things automatically will show up in the news section of our website. As we continue through the year and thinking about elections and things, please make sure that I'm kept aware of who's president of the chapters and things, so that if I send out an email asking for information, it's not going out to somebody who's not in that position anymore. We really need to focus for this year is to work on the chapters and the link page and put information about every chapter, how to contact that chapter, when they're having meetings. Has anybody checked out the calendar on the website? The calendar lists all the meetings and stuff that is going on within the different chapters. So it'd be nice to get those two things kind of synced up and working better with more information and everything. You can email me at nfbadmin@nfb-tn.org, and I generally respond within 24 hours, if not a few hours, depending on what's going on. And we worked with getting, our only expense right now for the website is our domain name. So that's a really nice thing. You can also make donations through the PayPal account to the state of Gilead. We'll be more than glad to accept your money through the website. Thank you, Christina. Anything else you can think of that I'm forgetting?
Just again, you can access the Tennessee Voice past past issues through the website.
Yes, thank you, April.
Read it and contribute.
I did look, and all of 2015, everything that came out in 2015 is up on the website. And the first issue of 2016 is up. You have any questions? Chirp, 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 chirp. The website is nfb-tn.org. Any other questions?
I think someone whispered, yeah, the convention has been streamed, so if you want to go back and listen to my wonderful singing yesterday, do that. But it will be on there. You know, if you were a speaker and you wanted to evaluate yourself or something like that, you can go back and listen. Something you missed. Say you only got to hear half of Muncie's speech yesterday, you can go back and listen. All right.
What's the question?
Yes, you can listen to the live stream that we did of the convention on the website. You can listen to, I know we did last year's, this year's, are both on there.
When will that be available,
It's available now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's essentially linked over to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Can you listen to segments, or you start from the beginning and go on?
You start from the beginning and would have to go all the way through. But you can, it's YouTube normal controls, you can fast forward it. So, that's a good question, Dwight. Any other questions?
Relive how you didn't win your door prize.
What was that, Heather?
I said we could relive how we didn't win a door prize.
Yes, relive how you didn't have a door prize. Any other questions? Twice? Gone.
All right. All right, now we need to have our chapter and division reports. So if all the chapter presidents or representatives and so on can line up back here, and we'll go ahead and give a door prize away while we're here.
Okay, I have a bag gift set and $20 in Target gift cards, and it goes to Terry Smith.
Terry Smith.
Okay, what about Michelle Peterson, Michael Peterson? Okay. Okay, since they don't know who's going first, let's give away a $25 gift card to Cracker Barrel. And it goes to Terry Smith.
You just went through
He'll take that one.
My wife.
Oh, Carrie, okay.
All right.
Carry it, Terry.
Hey, Jeff. I got two more. I'll wait until after the chapter report.
Okay.
Go Stone River. Come on, Stone River. Yes, yes.
All right. Can we get, there you. My name is James Boehm. I am president of the Stones River chapter here in Murfreesboro, and we're so glad that we were able to host you for this convention this year. Have you guys had a good time?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. We really appreciate everyone's hard work, that everyone that was involved in the planning and whatnot. Stones River is a very active and busy chapter in the Tennessee affiliate and in the Federation. We've continued to grow as a chapter. Our chapter is very unique because we have a lot of students from MTSU in our chapter, and so you have students come in and graduate and move on, and so you're constantly having to do outreach and find new chapter members and find new students at the campus. So we've been doing very good with that. We have several projects that we've been working on. One thing was the street initiative safety around MTSU, the construction going on. We've developed a really good relationship with the city of Murfreesboro so that we can ensure that that the construction and that street safety is at their top of their list. So that's great. Also last year we started the Educator of the Year program, in which we recognize the educator at Middle Tennessee State University for them going beyond and making sure that their course is accessible to everyone. So we'll have that again next month. So really want to commend our chapter. Our chapter is very giving. It's like a big family. We get along very well. We have a wide spectrum of personalities and ages and backgrounds, but we all get along very well and we get things done. So I really want to commend the chapter for their hard work and support. And we met to discuss what we would like to do as a chapter, and we had decided to give a $100 donation to the Bail program. That check has already been sent. And also, we are going to pledge $100 to the affiliate. So that's very important for Stones River chapter. Sure. All right, also president of the, I was president of the Tennessee Association of Guide Dog Users until the other day, until we had our meeting Friday night. We have a new president, Shay Welch. All right. Congratulations, Shay's been very active with us, and I'm going to continue to work with Shay and Stephanie, who's the vice president, and Steve, who's secretary. Ricky Jones is our treasurer. I was elected to serve on the board, so kind of gonna work from the behind the scenes and continue to build our division, which has been doing very well. We've gotten some things done. Last year we were able to get another county school to update their laws pertaining to assistance animals at their schools, their policy. So they had their policy, they finally, after much pressure, finally did change their policy, so that was great. Also recently, at Middle Tennessee State University, they decided that they wanted to put together some guidelines, which really wasn't guidelines, it was a policy, because they wanted you to sign it, and if you didn't follow certain things, they would take your dog. And several of the things were not compliant with the FHA. So in December, I went and spoke to the person that was head of the apartment complex I live in, and he said, well, just sign it, we'll fix it later. I said, I will not sign it, we will fix it now. So we went back and forth with them for a few months. First, I didn't see a need, didn't see what changes needed to be done, but after, I think what drove it home was that they were saying, well, we're just not gonna require anyone to sign it. And they promised me that multiple times. Well, I just happened to come across a student at MTSU back in February, and she has a guide dog. I said, I'm just curious, did they make you sign this policy? She said, yes, I had to sign it or I could not bring my dog on campus. So, of course, we made another phone call and said, well, we've got people signing this and saying that they're required to sign it. So finally, they decided to revamp, and they have redone that whole policy, guidelines, whatever they want to call it. And so far, it's still we're still reviewing it, but so far it is a lot better than what it was before. So again, that comes from speaking up and being determined to make a difference. So I'm looking forward to working with TAGDU this year. We had a great seminar Friday. Hope you guys, those who came, we had a lot of great information that was presented, and we had a good time. So we also talked as a committee and what we will do this year. And what we've decided to do is that we will pledge $50 to the Tennessee affiliate, and then we will do $50 to the National Association of Guide Dog Users. So that's our report for TAGDU.
Brady, will I bring you greetings from the Memphis chapter? All I've got greetings. I've been told as a chapter president at times I've volunteered my members what to do. I would never do such things. Don't believe those vile rumors. But if he would, if Craig McFarland would come up this way. No, I asked him. That's different. That is different. I know you won't turn me down though. So. Craig, if you come up to the front for me. Yeah, you might need to. Craig, if you'll stand up, he can come show you the way if you need help. Is he here? Right. He's got it. We want to congratulate him on being nominated and elected to our he would never tell you that he came to us through Ron Brown at the Indiana affiliate. And he's been a great vice president for our chapter, so we thank him for all his service. And this year, because Miss Evelyn stepped down as our chapter treasurer, nobody could just wanted to accept her position. I just don't know why. So our treasurer is Craig, because he's the first vice president. All right. So one of the things that we started in 2016, 15, is we do NFB miniatures during our chapter meeting. So for all my Memphis folks, stand up. We're going to practice one of those NFB miniatures, and Craig is going to lead you, so you'll be all right. Don't grumble and gripe. Okay. And any upper other federations are welcome to stand and join us as we do the NFB pledge. That's what we try to teach all of our chapter members in Memphis. I know some of you old snakes, as one of our folks called you, know it really well, so help us out.
All right, repeat after me. I pledge to participate actively.
I pledge to participate actively
in the efforts of the National Federation of the Blind.
in the efforts of the National Federation of the Blind
To achieve equality.
to achieve equality,
Opportunity.
opportunities,
And security.
and security
For the blind.
for the blind.
To support the policies and programs of the Federation.
To support the policies and programs of the Federation.
And to abide by its Constitution.
And to abide by its Constitution.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You may be seated.
See, that volunteering wasn't that painful, was it? Yeah. So the Memphis chapter has continued to grow in membership. We've brought a lot of first timers this year. If you are a first time member to convention from Memphis, sing out.
Yeah.
Dr. Carter, sing out. Yeah, so then Miss Mathis was new, and we had quite a few others. I think they're getting luggage. So we had, Mika and Jada, yes. So we had quite a few new ones, and we hope to get more new ones to national convention. One of the things that we did as a chapter was in October, we did a meet and greet for the first time. And we invited the public to come meet us and to learn about what the Federation is, what our philosophy is, and how they can help us to advance and improve the lives of blind people in our community. It was small, we had about 30 people in attendance, but we did begin to build bridges as a chapter. One of those bridges is with our local vocational rehab office. Although Ann Smith is the supervisor and will be retiring soon, she's instructed her counselors to rotate and come to our chapter meetings. Now, we're not sure what impact new leadership up top in Nashville will have on this precedent, because one of them was going to come to convention, and I think she was told no. So hopefully Nashville will be as supportive of our efforts to continue building that bridge. We also had a representative, Will Henry from Steve Cohen's office, that did a really great job, and we brought in new members that way. So I would encourage anybody, any of our chapters or divisions, to do meet and greets and Meet the Blind Month, because as one of my members likes to tell me all the time, we can't just meet in small rooms at libraries or at university centers. We do have to get out into the public so people can truly meet us. Thank you, Tara. So we are also continuing to do fundraisers in the summer. We're going to do a drawing for a gift card, cash. So any of you guys who want to help support that, you know how to find me. My information is on the nfb-tn.org website. We will be glad to sell you a ticket. And we do, similar to what the state does, we do chapter pledges. So last year we raised a couple $1,000s that way for our treasury, and that assisted us to get to convention. So my members are great. They do a lot to support their chapter. They do a lot to let Memphis knows what it does mean to be blind, that we're independent, that we're professionals, and that we're going to keep on moving even though we might have barriers. So thanks for such a great chapters, such great members, and help me keep building the chapter. And y'all have a great trip back home. For Memphis folks, luggage is being loaded from this room onto the bus. So if you can get your luggage here, the driver will take it the rest of the way. Thanks.
Heather is like jingling. She sounds like a guide dog or something. I've been confused this morning.
The Memphis chapter is donating $100 to the general fund, and you have the check in hand, and $100 towards store prizes.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am the president of the Nashville chapter. We've got elections coming up when we get back, so who knows what will happen. I'm reporting on what we've done in the last year with our chapter, but I'm also taking the opportunity to share with you some of the joy that's involved in working at the chapter level. Our chapter did have a Meet the Blind month activity, and we had a table at the Opry Mills shopping centre, and the estimable Mr. Keith Tim, who deserves a wonderful hand in doing all our sound. We always have superb sound at conventions because he brings an entire PA and sets it all up himself. And he went onto the website and cut out a bunch of all sorts of photographs of blind people doing amazing things. We had people skydiving and skiing down the snow, and we even had a cute little toddler who was about 3 years old, and he's got his little white cane and he's running down the sidewalk. And so we put those up on big boards right where people walked by, and we had braille alphabets, and people could come over and we would braille their name on the braille alphabets. And I don't know the actual results of having that, but what I know is that we were busy working together as a chapter. We had a great time, and then we went out and we had dinner afterwards at the restaurant that was there. And we did have some outreach. James can share the story. We actually had a rare outreach for the NFB in the men's restroom. James, can you tell us, share that with us?
Wow, I'm trying to think about it. Yeah. Me and Tyler Butler. Tyler, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyler and I and Chris Pennington, are you here? He stayed. He was at the bar too late last night. Well, we decided, we were going to go to the bathroom. We were somewhere close to the food court, and we went in the bathroom. We found our urinals and things like that, and we got done. We got, you do what you do in the bathroom, and we get done. And this guy said, it was an African American guy. He said to me, "You blind?" And I said, "Yeah." And he turned to Chris. He said, "You blind?" And Chris said, "Yeah." And he turned to Tyler, "You blind too?" And we said, "Yes." He said, "Well, y'all blind." And so we got to tell him, yes, we were blind, and it was okay. And we were doing normal human things, and we had to go back to our event. And so yeah, that was the outreach experience in the bathroom.
So he probably went home and told all his buddies, as we say in Australia, all his mates, that the blind people were out in force working. See, they do all sorts of things. And I'd like to share with you that publicly, it's not true that just all the girls go to the bathroom together, is it? Yeah. So our chapter, I read Dr. Jernigan's, all his writings to try and see if I could glean some words of wisdom to be useful as a leadership position. And one of the things that Dr. Jernigan said is that, money can be a problem. And when a chapter has more than about $250 in their bank account, Dr. Jernigan believes that money could be better spent on the work of the Federation. And I couldn't agree more. And so our chapter, one of our exciting new initiatives is that we have put together what we call a national chapter builder scholarships, and we try to give away 2 scholarships each year in the maximum of $300 per person to send 2 people to national convention that we believe will benefit from. They might most often they're first timers, but quite often they may not be first timers, but they are people who are showing a real interest in doing more in the chapter. And if someone went as a 14-year-old student, we don't want to exclude them from going now that they're a 29-year-old busy chapter member on a technicality. So that's one of the exciting things. And also we're taking advantage of other grants and things that are available. So not only do we give them scholarship money, we give them support, and we teach them skills of how to advocate for themselves and how to find other grants so that they can pass those sort of skills on to others. But one of the things that I used to think chapter reports were all about trying to share the huge and amazing, dramatic things that our chapter achieved. And then, I've come to realise that the chapters are the family units, and we're like the households, and then the state is like the big family. And so we really, most of the time, we don't have big, amazing, giant events. But you know what we do? We have really effective family stuff that goes on. And so in our chapter, we've had 2 lovely young people start to attend. We have Tyler Lewis. Are you here with us, Tyler? Yeah. Tyler Lewis is 8th grade, and he is already active in our chapter. He advocates at his school and talks to people about the work of the NFB. We have a young lady named Sonia Nima. You heard Sonia yesterday. Put the NFB reader people on the spot. Go little Sonia. And Dad took her home. She's 12 now, and she used to come to my homeschool when she was 5. But she's growing into the Federation. And we've had students attend. We've had a lady, I'm talking to a lady on the telephone. But you know, also in our chapter work, some time ago, I think it was starting in about 2004 or 2005, I used to call a gentleman who lived out in the middle of nowhere when we just had the, and I say nowhere because I'm ignorant of Tennessee geography, it doesn't mean it's nowhere. I learned all my American geography from songs. And so if you didn't write a song about your town that got played on Australian radio, I don't know a lot about it. I know Cumberland Gap, see, that's it, and plenty of Memphis songs, yeah. And I used to call this gentleman back in the early 2000s, and I was very sad to hear that he got sick, and then I got given the parents' job, working with the parents, and so I wasn't on that calling duty. But that gentleman was Pastor Douglas Dunlap, and he called James a year or so ago and said, look, somebody used to call me back before I got really sick from the NFB, and I really wanted to get involved in the work of the NFB. Well, it's tempting to think, you know, as a chapter person, oh gee, I waste all this time on the phone, all these years, they go by, and what does it do, and why should I call old Mrs. Jones again, or Mr. Grumpy Smith, oh gee, and he says, what do I need a blind organisation? But you know what? I think back now, there was another young man whose mum contacted me in the early 2000s as well, and she said, my son Robert needs voc rehab help. They're not giving him stuff. They've got him in the wrong sort of job. He's not happy. He lost his vision a little while ago, and he's not got much help. So I got involved in our chapter, and we had a young man named Robert Christie went off to the Colorado Center, and then he went off and did some work in Florida, and now he's back, and now he's the president of the Chattanooga chapter. Who would have dreamt that my calling Robert and chatting with him and trying to encourage him all those years ago, that the Middle Tennessee chapter, as it was in the Nashville chapter, has now been able to, through our love and family support as a chapter, there we go, we're able to be experiencing part of Chattanooga's joy and hope. And then apparently our buddy Steve Norman, that was a Nashville chapter man, Robert went up to Nashville and encouraged Steve, and he went off to the Colorado Center, and now he's in Murfreesboro. See, and I tell you these stories because they're not, we had a fundraiser and we raised $10,000, but you know what they are? We had a constant attention with love and support to people who came our way, our blind brothers and sisters. And we, to me, these young men in leadership and working in the work of the Federation, Steve on the Tennessee Voice, and Rob in the chapter, and Pastor Doug coming and leading worship today, that's worth more than $10,000 to me. That's changed lives. That's in contributing to the quality of life of the blind people in our chapter. So our chapter has been quietly working away, whether it's working with a little boy that I work with who he's now 3, and his parents bring him to me, and he's actually Sonia's little brother, so they're Indian, and they crack jokes about, you know, I think our little Vivan will be a president one day, and he's a naughty little boy, he's 3. But you know, how are we contributing to the future? Well, apparently he goes home and he goes to put his hands near his glasses and poke his eyes, and he says, don't poke your eyes, don't poke your eyes, because I say, don't poke your eyes. So we've got little Vivan, who's 3, learning good things about how to conduct yourself in public as a good upstanding fine young blind man, right up to our scholarships and sending people and our young students. We have, students in high school, we have students in college who come to our chapter. We have a lovely new lady that's just moved, and I'm sure she'll forgive me because I just met her once, Mary. She's moved from somewhere else. Columbus, Georgia, there we go. That's it, I never heard a song about Columbus, Georgia. Someone will have to write one to help me out. And so Mary's moved from Columbus, Georgia, and she said to us at the last meeting, "What are you doing for seniors?" And I said, "Oh, Mary, let me talk about that with you." So hopefully we can get something organised to work with seniors. So we do have a $200 cheque in hand that we would like to give to our affiliate that we're contributing. And we have a fundraiser that is eat out for a week, 2 dinners every night. So you and your friend or your partner or your spouse or even your enemy that you're trying to get in good with, make friends with, you can go out for 7 nights of dinners for $20. Now they're chain restaurants, so if you don't live in Nashville, that's just fine. I don't live in Nashville. I actually live in Franklin, Tennessee, which is in Williamson County. And a place like Macaroni Grill, Longhorn, Olive Garden. So if you would like that, and also there are, I think we're calling it 7 lunches, or some other time they would like to eat. We have for second prize. So that's a really great deal. So if you would like to buy a ticket, various members of the chapter have tickets, or you can come and chat to me, and I'd love to set you tickets. It's going to be drawn in May. So we had one gentleman buy a ticket and pay us on PayPal. So we'll take your money any way you'd like to give it to us, hand it on to our people. So in closing, what I'd like to say in our chapter report that we've been doing is we've been doing lots and lots of little things to make a difference in our world. And we've been changing our world one little step at a time. But we are changing all of the little worlds that the people in our chapter make for themselves to result in changing our community so that we can live the lives we want. Thank you.
Hello, I am Natalie Norwood, and I'm the president of the volunteer chapter in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm going to give the report from our chapter this morning. But before I do, I want to express a special thanks and appreciation. This has been kind of a hodgepodge weekend for me. I've spent some much needed time with family, much needed time with family, which I really needed. And in the course of which, and my brain has been so overloaded with not just chapter stuff, but with life in general, that I just completely didn't show up for my other commitment this Friday. And Melissa Smith was so gracious to take over and form completely a new committee for audit. And I just want to say for everybody how much I appreciate that, because I was completely just freaked out and wasn't where I could get here. At a family event. So thank you once last time. I see her back there. Thank you. And that's just another testament to the work that Melissa is, because I know she had stuff to do, and she was like, "It's okay, we'll take care of it." And planner that I am, I sat and figured out, well, she didn't have to go bother our president. She could just chair it. And so I was like, "Oh, it's okay. Just, Evelyn will walk you through it." So. And they did great. I trust that they did. I hear they did wonderfully. So thank you, and I apologize to the affiliate for that happening. Okay, back to the volunteer chapter. We have done a lot of stuff this year as a group, and we are a small group. But what I am very, very, very proud of is that we nearly always have 100% attendance, which anybody that knows me knows I'm all about quality and not quantity. I'd rather have 5 people that I can count on is to have 20 people and not be able to have a quorum.
Yeah.
And so we have, I know I'm gonna get this wrong. We have 9 paid, I believe, and we nearly always have that many either by phone or in attendance. So I'm very proud of that. And Knoxville is not, in my opinion, the best place to get anywhere from point A to point B. So we have some difficulties in that regard as it relates to being able to find a place that's easy for everybody to get to, but we do pretty good in that. The other thing that we focused on this past year was community outreach. I feel very strongly that we have to be known out in the community, and we have to establish those relationships with other civic organizations and other nonprofits and special interest groups to be able to be known out there, and to then, once you establish those relationships, you can reach out to those that you need to help you do, especially if you're in a small number like we are. So we had some of you might have heard of this because I think it found its way across the state, the Legacy Bus Tour. We were invited by the local DRC, who did a challenge and did a big, can't find my words, a big exposition, if you will, and exhibit in honor of the Legacy Bus Tour in our downtown area, Market Square Mall area. We were able to be involved in that and had a lot of participation. A lot of people came by, and that's a lot of literature that we passed out from the city and county mayors on down, or up, as you will, however you want to look at it. There was a lot of traffic going on there. We also were able to participate last October at the West Town Mall, which is a big traffic area in our city, and was able to have a table and actually got work in partnership with DRC and other disability groups. We kind of partnered with and had one big table, and we actually were right smack dab in the middle of the mall, so people really couldn't go by us without, or go around us without seeing us. So strategically, logistically, location is critical. It's not just being out there, but getting where, people have to almost run over you and they'll stop. So that's a good thing. That went very well. We have already been invited to participate in our event, a similar kind of an event in October of this year. We have that on our books, and that one's going to be really fun because we're going to be able to do some I can't remember the lady's name, I'm sorry, but I'm going to call them learning shades instead of sleep shades. We're going to use some of that kind of stuff with sighted folks and play some games when they come to our table, and just some good, exciting things that we're doing there. We also was able to have one of our members is on the legislative committee at the state level, Sandy Boer, and she was picked as one of the folks to go first time to Washington seminar, and then the blizzard hit, and we were all disappointed because Sandy's flight didn't leave and she didn't make it. We're very excited about her involvement and how we can tap into that from a legislative standpoint at the state and national level. So we do expect President Brown for that to continue, and hope, I think she hopes to go again this next year. I will be sharing those dates with her when I go back. Then we have another member of our chapter. This is, and what I'm saying, and the why I'm saying it is to stress my point that we're small in numbers, but we're getting out there across the state. Right. Shannon Hanson, who is a member of our chapter, a very active member. She was, I understand, this weekend just elected president of TABS at the state level. So that's a big woohoo for us. We're very excited to hear that. And Shannon has worked very hard at getting a group started in the Knoxville area and she told me, TANABA. I almost got it right. Yes. I went over and I said, tell me the acronym, and she told me twice. I said, and I knew I'd say it wrong. So, TANABA. So we're excited about doing some things together and working with her and getting out into it. And I know that she hasn't already told you she will. They've done a lot of community outreach stuff as well. I think that's critical from an awareness standpoint and making the community understand and know that we're not really different. We might have to do something a little different to get from point A to point B, but it's not, you're only as dependent on something or somebody as you make yourself. I really don't care what your disability is. That's how I feel about that. That's how I've lived my life. So that's where we're going with that. Our chapter is, and I've already presented it to the treasurer, is presenting a check for $50 to the state of Philadelphia. And that is my report.
I tell you what, you should, anybody who's never seen that much snow just can't understand what Blizzard Geddon was like in January in Baltimore. There was 30 inches of snow.
Wow.
And we got out and, we wanted to go down to the corner pub after it was done. I mean, right after it quit snowing, 30 inches of snow, we went down to the corner pub. It took us 15 minutes to walk 1 block. And it was very interesting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we just wanted to experience it. It was really, really, really fun. It wasn't really cold. That was the No, it wasn't me that walked on the car. Who was that? Is that Steve? Yeah. Okay. Gabe, who works there at the National Center, he was walking along and all of a sudden realized he was on top of the car. Because the snow just buried the cars. And yeah, it was really fun.
All right. I'm Terry Smith from the Scenic City chapter. This will be a short report. I hold the best position you can hold in any organization. That is the immediate past presence. When James convinced me to start a chapter in Chattanooga, I told James I would get it started. I'd be happy to be the president for the first 2 years, but I didn't expect this to be a lifetime job. And so I got it up and running. Year 3 rolled around, I fulfilled my commitment, and we had nobody that would be president. So I took it on for year 3, and fortunately during year 3 we developed, we got some new members, and Robert Christie was just recently elected as our new president.
Right.
You know Robert, he is well steeped in the NFB philosophy. He is he went to the Colorado Center for the Blind, and so we're hoping that Robert will do great things. He was here yesterday, but had to go back last night, so I get to give the chapter report one last time. 2000, I guess the last year has been a bit of a strange year because we've been focusing on getting folks to our meetings, getting folks involved in the chapter. We currently have 18 dues-paying members. We have 4 or 5 who we consider members who just haven't given us their money yet. So we really consider that we've got 23 members, which is a pretty good number. So we're pretty proud of that. We have our core group of 13 or 14 that we can count on being just about every meeting. We meet the second Monday of every week of every month at the downtown public library. And we did some social things. We did our summer picnic, our cookout, and we did our Christmas dinner at Chili's and that kind of thing. And we had one big fundraiser that we did. We did a fundraiser with Krispy Kreme donuts, and so everybody gained a lot of weight because we bought all the donuts. But they have some pretty good deals at Krispy Kreme for nonprofits who want to raise money. And I think we paid $4 for a coupon for a dozen donuts and sell them for $8. And so we were making half of the profit was coming to us. So we cleared about $800 on that fundraiser. So it was a pretty good fundraiser for us. The new executive committee is now having discussions. As I said, we have focused a great deal on internal, getting people to the meetings and getting them used to what we're talking about in the NFB. The new executive committee now is looking at, okay, we need to take the next step. And I think it was Christina that said you can't sit in just rooms and libraries. That's where we meet at the library. And so the new executive committee is talking about, now we gotta go out and we've got to get in the community. And what are the things that we're going to be doing out there in the community? We've had success in raising some money. Where do we want to target that money and what do we want to do with it? So I think in the coming year, you'll see a lot more activity coming out of the Chattanooga chapter, and I look forward to being part of that. I am still going to be the treasurer. I'm hanging on to the money, but so I will still be actively involved in that chapter. And Mr. President, I'm embarrassed to say that we do not have any money for the affiliate. I gave him strict instructions at the last meeting, which I was going to miss. I was out of town. I said, vote on what you want to give the affiliate at this convention, and they forgot. So they will be voting on that at the next meeting, and we'll make sure that it gets to everyone, okay? All right, thanks.
Good morning. The Tennessee Association of Blind Merchants, which is one of the divisions, Randolph Shepherd Vendors. Most of y'all know that, but we've had a quiet year. Kind of quiet. One of our issues has been and will always be that we're spread out all over the state. And it's a little harder to communicate sometimes and do a lot of fundraising, but we work on it. And we had our meeting yesterday at lunch, and this is a non-executive year, so all of our executive members would stay the same, and our two board members were re-elected, Melissa Smith and Dwight Johnson. So we're glad that they're still on our board. And I'm going to make short, I'm going to catch you back up on your time. We have a check for the affiliate in the amount of $250 from the Merchants Division, and we appreciate all of your help and support. We hope you enjoyed the goodie bags.
I should have just stayed. So I'm Josh. I'm up here for the Tennessee Association of Blind Students. As Ms. Natalie already stated, we do have a new executive board. We have Shannon as our president, Tara Tate as our vice president, Quinn Howard as our secretary, Ms. Christina Clint as our treasurer, and Mr. Russell Jones as our board member. It's been a struggle this year because we are spread out over the whole state trying to fundraise and meet and things. But we are definitely working on that. Our fundraiser that we did about $300 this year. That's really good. Keep up the support for students, and I look forward to seeing how the new executive board takes tabs and runs with it over the next 2 years.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the door prize.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Hey, James, I got two. You want me to give both of them away?
Yeah.
One is for a $25 gift card out to Outback. And it's going to Everand Coleman.
All right. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
And the next one is a $25 gift card to Logan's. And it goes to Mary Baker.
Yep, just right there.
All right.
And that's it. And I want to thank everybody for bringing me door prizes. It means less work I have to do. Thank you.
All right, Terry Smith, resolutions.
Sorry, I was just waiting for the
Oh, that's okay.
I can bring the mic to you.
Okay, the resolutions committee, this may take a little time, I'm sorry, but we have 4 resolutions that we're bringing for the convention today. I'll give you just a brief history on each one of them as I go through them. But resolution, National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee Resolution 2016-1 regarding enactment of a Braille bill in Tennessee. There's been discussion, and our president has talked about the need for a Braille bill in Tennessee. NFB has a model Braille bill, and this is in reference to that. Whereas literacy is a key for any American to become employed and be independent, and whereas Braille is an important tool in helping blind individuals become literate, and whereas research shows that there is a direct correlation between Braille literacy and academic achievement and employment, and whereas the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee believes that the individual education program for each blind student should include provisions for instruction in Braille and the use of Braille when appropriate, and whereas competent instruction is crucial if the blind child is to become proficient in Braille, and whereas all teachers of children who are blind or visually impaired should be required to demonstrate competency in reading and writing Braille, and whereas the National Federation of the Blind has developed a model Braille bill that ensures blind children have the opportunity to learn Braille and to be taught by competent teachers. Therefore, be it resolved by the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee, gathered in convention on this, the 3rd day of April 2016 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, that the Tennessee affiliate endorse passage of a Braille bill by the Tennessee General Assembly, and be it further resolved that the president of this affiliate be authorized to take actions as necessary in support of getting a Braille bill passed in Tennessee. That's the resolution 2016-1. I will go through these resolutions and then we will come back and vote on them as individual resolutions. Resolution National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee, Resolution 2016-2 regarding funding for the Tennessee Business Enterprises Program. There has been discussion about pulling out some of the federal dollars from the Randolph-Shepard program. And I've had some discussions with the Department of Human Services about this. They're telling me that there's been a lot of miscommunication and this may not happen, but we want to move forward with the resolution anyway, just in case it does happen. And we've got a little leverage that we can use the NFB organization to help support. Whereas the Randolph-Shepard Act created a program designed to enable blind entrepreneurs the opportunities to own and operate food service businesses in government buildings. And whereas Tennessee has what is arguably one of the best Randolph-Shepard programs in the country, and whereas the blind entrepreneurs participating in the Tennessee Business Enterprise Program pay approximately $2 million annually in sales taxes to the Tennessee State Treasury and over $1 million annually in set-aside fees to the Tennessee Department of Human Services. And whereas the set-aside fees and unassigned dollars generated by the program draw down approximately $5 million in federal vocational rehabilitation dollars. And whereas traditionally the federal dollars were spent in the Tennessee Business Enterprises to create new opportunities and administer the program, which is a key reason the Tennessee program has been so successful. And whereas consideration is reportedly being given by the Department of Human Services to withdrawing a portion of these federal dollars from the Business Enterprises Program. And whereas such action, depending upon the extent to which federal dollars are withdrawn, could result in fewer opportunities being created for blind entrepreneurs, serious management problems, the potential for increased fees to be assessed against the net profits of the blind entrepreneurs, a possible loss of health insurance by the blind entrepreneurs, and most assuredly expensive litigation that will only further harm the program. And whereas such a decision constitutes a major administrative decision affecting the overall administration of the program, thus requiring the active participation of the Committee of Blind Vendors. Therefore be it resolved by the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee, gathered in convention on this, the 3rd day of April 2016 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, that the president of the affiliate communicate closely with the president of the Merchants Division and the elected Committee of Blind Vendors, and that he take whatever steps necessary in support of the blind entrepreneurs and continuation of adequate funding for the Tennessee Business Enterprises Program. And be it further resolved that the Merchants Division work with the elected Committee of Blind Vendors to seek assistance from the national office to explore litigation options for challenging any unilateral decision by the state to significantly reduce funding for the Business Enterprises Program. This motion was, this resolution was presented to the Blind Merchants Division yesterday at their meeting, and it was endorsed by TABM unanimously. 2016-3 is a resolution regarding the hiring of the Director of Tennessee Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Now, I will tell you that we did not wait on a resolution. We had several people, we coordinated a little effort to have several people write letters to the Department of Human Services urging that they hire a blind person to be the Director of Services for the Blind, or have somebody who has a strong philosophy of blindness. So we've already sent letters, but we wanted to follow that up with a stronger resolution. And this resolution says, whereas the Director of Tennessee Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired position is vacant, and the Department of Human Services is allegedly conducting a nationwide search to fill the vacancy, and whereas the National Federation of the Blind believes that it is not blindness that holds people back, but low expectations, and with proper training and support, blind people can be successful. And whereas we believe that blind people can live the lives they want, and for most, that means being employed in a good job and contributing to their communities. And whereas, unfortunately, many vocational rehabilitation agencies take a custodial approach to blind people, and this creates greater dependency rather than independence. And whereas at this critical time, Services for the Blind does not need a strong administrator or a good bureaucrat, but a person with a strong philosophy of blindness who has a vision for improving the lives of blind people and creating an environment that fosters innovation and promotes the abilities of blind people. And whereas we believe that a strong leader, preferably a blind person, who shares our philosophy would be an asset to the VR program in Tennessee and to the blindness community. And whereas the administration has a dismal record when it comes to hiring people with disabilities in leadership roles, and hiring a blind person in this position would help change its reputation and demonstrate a belief in the abilities of blind people. And whereas a blind person is more likely to have a strong philosophy of blindness and could serve as a role model for blind VR clients. And whereas in 2015, this organization passed a resolution in support of structured discovery as the preferred method of teaching blind people to live independent lives. Therefore, be it resolved by the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee, gathered in convention on this, the 3rd day of April 2016 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, that this organization go on record as urging the Department of Human Services to hire a director who is preferably blind, has a strong philosophy of blindness, supports client choice when it comes to choosing service providers, and supports structured discovery as the preferred method for training clients who are blind. And be it further resolved that the president of the affiliate share a copy of this resolution with the Commissioner of the Department of Human Services, the Assistant Commissioner for Rehabilitation Service, and others as appropriate. Resolution 2016-4 regarding Tennessee Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired. The president mentioned earlier about a white paper, and this is sort of dealing with that. It says, whereas the Tennessee Department of Human Services is charged with the responsibility of providing vocational rehabilitation services to persons who are blind or visually impaired, and whereas there has been an increasing dissatisfaction within the blindness community as to the quality of VR services being provided to blind consumers, and whereas the department violates the law in that it does not allow clients to make truly informed choices in the rehabilitation program, and whereas it is a fight almost every time a knowledgeable blind person seeks to attend a structured discovery training center, and whereas the department opposed legislation in 2015 that would have created a study committee to review the current program, and whereas the department refuses to acknowledge the merits of a mentoring program for young VR clients, and whereas there are many issues in regards to the administration of and funding for Tennessee business enterprises, and whereas there is little innovation in the program today, therefore be it resolved by the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee, gathered in convention on this, the third day of April 2016 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, that the affiliate go on record as being dissatisfied with the quality of services and write a white paper on the state of Tennessee Services for the Blind today. And be it further resolved that the president take whatever action necessary in support of this resolution, including appointing an ad hoc committee to write the white paper, submitting freedom of information requests, seeking assistance from members of the General Assembly, etc. And be it further resolved that said white paper be distributed amongst the blindness community, be posted on the affiliate's website, be sent to the Department of Human Services, share with the press, and develop legislation for the 2017 legislative session. And just to give you just a little background, James mentioned that we had a bill last year, it's in a resolution that we had a bill last year to do a study committee. And what happened was the department opposed that bill. There were other groups who wanted to add additional members to the study committee who were on the record as opposing structured discovery from a philosophical standpoint. So why put them on a committee if they are already opposed before they even get to hear the facts? So we asked the sponsor of the bill to pull the bill, but he agreed that he would send a request to the Department of Human Services, a letter that we wrote for him, asking for certain statistical information to help us sort of see for ourselves what kind of job they're doing. And so the Department of Human Services did provide that information. And so that we do have that information that we would include in the white paper. So with that, Mr. President, I move approval of the nominating committee report.
Those who make motions, please state your full name. That'd be helpful. Thank you.
I think Geraldine was the first one. Yeah, she was the second. She was the first one.
The first step.
Sure, we got Geraldine Parker. And Terry Smith was the one to make the motion. All right, we've got a motion in a second. Any discussion on this resolution?
Well, no, we don't need to approve the report now.
Okay, that's right, we read 4 of them. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to, you want me to? Okay, I'm stepping in as president for a minute. Resolution 2016-1 regarding, let's see, I got all my papers out of order. Braille bill, correct. Regarding the Braille bill, is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
And Phil makes a motion to adopt the resolution.
Please state name. Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to pass resolution 2016-1. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of resolution 2016-1, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Resolution 2016-2 has to do with funding for the Tennessee Business Enterprises. Do I hear a motion that we adopt?
Mary Baker makes a motion, that we adopt this bill. To adopt this resolution.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor of resolution 2016-2, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution 2016-3 has to do with regarding the hiring of a director of Tennessee Services for the Blind. Do I have a motion that we pass a resolution 2016-3?
Motion that we adopt the 16.2.
Russell seconded. Everybody seconded, but she deferred to Russell, I think. Okay. Okay. Any discussion about resolution 2016-3? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Okay, resolution 2016-4 is regarding the Tennessee Services for the Blind and the white paper that we plan on writing during the coming year. Do I hear a motion for the, Christina wants on that one. So, Mika Reeves seconds. So we have a motion and a second on resolution 2016-4. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Mr. President, thank you.
So long, it's so strange. You didn't say that. Any door prizes left? Oh, okay. Not right now. Maybe next year. Well, we've got just maybe a couple more things on our agenda here. We've got a couple customary motions, and we should be done early. So I might get to go home and take a nap. I might be asleep by noon. But the customary motion we usually propose is who will be our alternate delegate at convention. And our vice president customarily serves in that role. First vice, is there a motion to do that? All right, a motion for Terry Smith to be our alternate delegate. And that was, Geraldine was the first. And Lula Bell, were you a second? Mika Reeves? Okay, Mika Reeves second. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And next up is our 2017 convention. And we have decided on a rotation last year where it is going to be in Memphis, Tennessee. Right. I know that Christina is already, Christina, do you have any target hotels or, I know you've been looking at a few things.
We are in contact with the
DoubleTree Hotel where we had it before and looking at some of the newly built hotels, see if they can get a better price.
So, we are looking at, in April, because as you guys know, we have March Madness and hotels rooms are sometimes hard to get, but we will avoid Easter and all the other applicable holidays and graduations that fall in there. So, we'll continue working on that, and we will see everybody in Memphis in 17.
All right. All right, we kind of have a custom we're building as the years go on, and if anyone has anything that they're thankful for, why don't you just shout something out? All right. Anything else? Hey, that's good.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
All right, Todd.
I'm thankful for an organization that allows me to leave a legacy in the lives of others.
Who's,
That was Tyler.
is that Tyler?
Yeah.
All right, Tyler.
Family.
Great.
Friends and family.
I'm grateful to be able to participate in such a great organization. And I'm glad that my heart is in it. And I'm not just going to be a liability, I'm going to be an asset.
Yes.
I do have a quick story, and I forgot to do it during my bell report, but over the last 2 years, we've had a young one come as part of our volunteers. He's the baby brother. He was 18 months when he started at Bell, almost 2 years. He's now almost 4. And in the beginning, he would take his baby cane that we would give him, and he would tap along with the rest of us. And unfortunately, fortunately, he was sighted at the time. And when he would go to the mall with his mother, who was blind, he would throw a fit in the middle of the mall because he didn't have a cane. Well, about a couple months ago, his mom told me that they diagnosed him with the same condition that led to her losing her vision later on in life. So the skills that he started getting in Bell will help him as he grows up to be a fine, upstanding young man, as Heather says, and hopefully one that will join our movement. So just goes to show that you might be volunteering for Bell, but you might need those skills in an unexpected way. So he'll be joining our Bell program as a 4-year-old. And he's been a little bit ahead.
Anyone else? You know, I got something I'm thankful for. You know, I never had a big brother growing up, and I kind of always envied those people who did. You know, because they would take up for their little brothers, and, you know, you'd be on the block or something, and nobody messed with those kids who had the big brothers, right? And so the National Federation of the Blind at a national level is like that. They're our big brother. And if anybody comes and tries to pick on us, then they're gonna have our backs. And you know, then we've got individual members who are like that. I know Jimmy over here. If you mess with one of his little brothers, he's gonna be mad. He's gonna come after you. And so it's like that in the Federation. And so before we adjourn, I want our national representative, John Paray, to come up and say a few words for us.
All right. First thing I've settled up on my pledge, so I'm happy to that. And well, this has been a fantastic convention. Your hospitality, your friendship, your love, the work that your president is doing is really inspirational for me. And the talks that we had yesterday and everything, you're really doing well. When I see President Riccobono tomorrow, I'm going to tell him that the Tennessee affiliate is alive and well. All right, I look forward to seeing as many of you at a Washington seminar, at National Convention in Maryland, or hopefully I'll be back in Tennessee. Thank you.
All right, everybody, go in peace. The 2016 Convention of the National Federation of the Blind of Tennessee is now adjourned. My good friend recorded this song for me. I asked him to record it. It's a We Shall Overcome National Federation of the Blind version, 75th anniversary edition.
We shall overcome.
Is his friend? I guess.
This way. Deep in my heart.
Thank you, everybody, and see you next year.